Good morning, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, morning headlines on January 25, 2024. Top Arizona Republican quits over leaked tape offer to Kari Lake. BBC, Arizona GOP chairman resigns after leaked audio of him and Kari Lake. The Independent, was Kari Lake bribed ahead of Senate run? Arizona GOP official Jeff Jewett resigns amid leaked tape scandal. Forbes, Kari Lake may have forced out Jeff Jewett, but Shush is not untouchable. The Arizona Republic, Kari Lake wants to chat. Be sure to bring a bug detector. Mediators push for Gaza ceasefire deal but gaps remain between Israel and Hamas. BBC, Hamas adamant on Gaza demands, rejects Netanyahu's longest truce offer, details. Hindustan Times, Israel denies hostage talks advancing as lawmakers balk at talk of military respite. The Times of Israel, opinion, Israel and Hamas probe for a pause that both sides need. The Washington Post, ceasefire efforts for Israel-Hamas war gained steam. But an agreement still appears elusive. Just 2 northern white rhinos remain. The species' first IVF pregnancy could save them from extinction. The Guardian, world's first IVF rhino pregnancy could save species. BBC, world's first IVF rhino pregnancy could save species. BBC News. BBC News, a rhinoceros is pregnant from embryo transfer in a success that may help nearly extinct subspecies. The Independent, world's first successful embryo transfer could save northern white rhino from extinction. Ohio upholds ban on child transgender procedures, overriding governor's veto. BBC, Ohio bans gender-affirming care for minors, overriding governor's veto. The Independent, Ohio bans gender-affirming care for trans minors. NBC News, new transgender health care fight focuses on adults. Bloomberg, Ohio bans gender-affirming care and restricts transgender athletes despite GOP governor's veto. David Cameron could face questions from MPs using obscure compromise. The Guardian, the problem with David Cameron appearing in the Commons. The New Statesman, Procedure Committee recommends that the Foreign Secretary should be scrutinised at the bar of the House. Committees, UK Parliament. Committees, Lord David Cameron should be questioned by MPs in Commons, committee suggests. Germany considers entry ban on Austrian behind mass deportation plan. The Guardian, AfD lobbied Syria to take back refugees via re-education in Russia. The Telegraph, the terrifying, far-right master plan sparking protests across Germany, podcast. The Guardian, the brief, Germany's wrestle with the far-right. EURACTIV, the week Germany woke up to the far-right AfD. 6 dead after plane carrying Rio Tinto workers to diamond mine crashes in Canada. BBC, the death toll from a small plane crash in Canada's Northwest Territories is 6, authorities say. The Independent, 6 killed in plane crash near Fort Smith, NWT. CBC News, 6 people were killed when a plane headed to a diamond mine crashed in Canada's Northwest Territories. CNN, plane crash leaves multiple dead in Canadian Northwest Territories. What happened to 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans found dead outside friend's home? The Independent, 5th friend at Jordan Willis house on night 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans died says he did text him the next. Daily Mail, man claims he was asleep on the couch as 3 pals lay dead in yard for 2 days. Yahoo Movies UK, lawyer, friend of 3 people found dead at Northland home moves out, 5th person was at house. KCTV 5, 3 men found frozen to death in friend's backyard, days after their last sighting. Hunter-gatherers were mostly gatherers, says archaeologist. The Guardian, diet of ancient Andes hunter-gatherers was 80 plant-based, study finds. Hampstead Highgate Express, the real paleo diet was heavy on plants with very little meat, study. Houthi missile attack forces cargo ships with U.S. Navy escort to turn around. The Guardian, 2 U.S.-flagged cargo ships come under attack off Yemen. Hampstead Highgate Express, Red Sea, Maersk vessels turn back after Houthis reportedly fire missiles at ships. WIAON, kamikaze drones call for a coordinated response. Hindustan Times, Houthis fire 3 missiles toward U.S. flagged ship in Gulf of Aden, U.S. military says. Johannesburg's Usindiso fire survivors living in unsafe shacks in South Africa. BBC, South African man confesses starting fire which killed 76 to conceal murder. The Guardian, man held for murder over South Africa building fire. BBC, murder suspect admits starting slum fire as he tried to dispose of body. The Times, man confesses to starting South Africa building fire that killed 76 people, while trying to get rid of body. Ron DeSantis admits warning signs for Trump and Republicans. The Independent, Donald Trump and the art of cruelty. The New Statesman, what went wrong with Ron? The Spectator, Ron DeSantis failed because Trump's base wants the man himself, not an imitation. A Lost Childhood, inside the Ukrainian school shut by war where children's drawings of the conflict line the walls. Sky News, a school for children bereaved by the war in Kyiv. News. Kenneth Eugene Smith, U.S. inmate faces first nitrogen execution after losing last-minute appeals. BBC, Alabama murderer to become first inmate in U.S. executed with nitrogen. Sky News, Alabama set to execute inmate with nitrogen gas, a never-before-used method. The Independent, Canadian firm under fire for supplying equipment for Alabama execution. Captain Cook statue vandalised in Melbourne on eve of Australia Day. BBC, two monuments symbolising Australia's colonial past damaged by protesters ahead of polarising holiday. The Independent, statue toppled as Australians reckon with bloody past. CNA, Melbourne statues of Queen Victoria and Captain Cook vandalised on Australia Day eve. Argentina, tens of thousands march against Javier Milei's cuts. BBC, Argentinians stage nationwide strike against Javier Milei's far-right agenda. The Guardian, traitor, thousands strike against Argentina's President Javier Milei. Al Jazeera English, Argentines go on strike against Milei's austerity policies. Reuters, thousands protest in Argentina against Milei's planned budget cuts. Ukrainian-born woman being crowned Miss Japan sparks debate. Boy, 9, who lived alone for 2 years went unnoticed because he was a good pupil. The Independent, abandoned French boy, 9, stole tomatoes to survive in unheated flat but attended school every day. The Telegraph, 9-year-old boy left to live alone for 2 years without electricity and heating, mother convicted. WION, France shaken by case of boy left alone in cold flat for 2 years. The Times, French woman gets 18 months prison for leaving son, 9, alone for 2 years. Russia risked lives in downed plane, Volodymyr Zelensky says. BBC, Russian plane carrying 65 Ukrainian POWs has crashed, Moscow says. BBC News. BBC News, UN Security Council to discuss Russian military plane crash near Ukraine border. Voice of America, VOA News, downed plane, still unanswered questions amid Ukraine and Russia claims. BBC, Russia-Ukraine war at a glance, what we know on day 701. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.